Today we're going to talk about your first time in Paris, what we did on our first week. We actually spent 8 days on the ground in Paris and then went out to Normandy. So this was our first trip out of into Europe. It was our first time in Paris. We had no idea what we were doing, and we wanted to make sure we saw everything on our bucket list because we did not know at the time that we would ever be back. So this is like what to do if you're gonna do a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Paris. This is what we did. Day one, we called our arrival day as day one. So we arrived, we fly in from the United States West Coast, and so we arrived, we took a really long nap because of jet lag. We rode in coach and didn't get any sleep. And then we took a nap and just wandered our local street. We stayed in the 15th at an amazing apartment with a view of everything, including the Eiffel Tower. And then we just had a cafe dinner and got a good night's rest. The next day, we went out to Versailles, and we only did the outside of Versailles. We did not do the inside. We did that on a second trip. We have both of those videos. You can see at the links above. I highly don't recommend trying to do Versailles all in one day, and those are in those videos. We walked about 12 miles on the outside of Versailles. We saw everything. Our feet were so sore at the end of that day. We went home and laid down and took a bath and soaked our poor feet. And then that evening we went out and did the 2CV car trip around Paris, which was amazing. Highly recommend it. Also the best thing to do your first night in Paris. Day 3, we had tickets to skip the line and went up to the second level of the Eiffel Tower and had coffee. And then we came down from that and got across the street over to Bateau Parisien and did a 1-hour river cruise and saw the sights from the river, which was also amazing. We went back and had a cafe lunch in the 15th, and then day 4 we went out in the morning to Malmaison, figured out the route, learned some things about that. That video is linked above. That was our whole day, and we came back and just relaxed. Day 5, we got up early and went out for breakfast, and then we metroed to the Cluny Museum and saw all the amazing things there. I've been there again since, so that's my favorite museum in the world. We did some shopping, then we bought some things to bring home, some really cool wooden pieces. We walked over to the Fountain Saint-Michel and met up with my tutor at the time, had a few drinks with her. We walked with her past Notre Dame, which was still heavily under construction at the time. We went through the bird market, and then we parted ways and we went on to the Sainte-Chapelle, and then back and had a cafe dinner. Day 6, we went out to Fontainebleau. We only saw the inside of that chateau. I have that video linked above. Also an amazing visit. Plan a full day for that. Day 7, we relaxed quite a bit and metroed up to Rue Cler and saw that. If you love market streets, that is a terrific place to spend an afternoon and an evening. We had a dinner there. Day 8 was a busy day. It was our last day in Paris, and we had decided instead of doing the Louvre on our front side on the end of the day at Malmaison, we did it today. And so we saw 2 giant museums. We went in the morning to Les Invalides and the Tomb of Napoleon and the Military Museum, which is enormous. Then we had a cafe lunch and took a nap, and at 4:30 we had timed entry tickets for the Louvre on our first time through that enormous place, and we went through there. We spent about 3 hours there and went in with completely no plan at all, which I will discuss in my Louvre video, which you can see here. There should be a plan if you're going to visit the Louvre, but it is nice to go in the evening. I wouldn't call it quiet, but it is probably quieter than if you go during the day. There are nights it's open late, and we actually ran into Steve Smith of the Rick Steves group, and we were so excited about that we actually missed seeing the Mona Lisa because we saw Steve instead. That was it, and we wrapped it up with the next day. We scheduled a G7 taxi to pick us up. We got a ride back to the airport, and we were on our way home on day 9. So we spent, basically, if you don't count the day 1 where we didn't do anything, we could have called it 8 days, but really we spent 7 days of actual sightseeing. Then day 1 we just rested. And day 7 was pretty restful too. It was just a Rue Cler market day. I hope this inspires you to plan your trip to Paris and you can cram in all of the highlights. This was our whirlwind highlights tour of Paris, and we saw the things we wanted to see, but we didn't know if we'd ever be back. It turns out we have been back, and plan to come back if you go. But if you're not going to come back and it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, consider this a great option. The only thing I would include in this, if you're never coming back, definitely go see the Arc de Triomphe, because that's an amazing place to see, and go up on Montmartre, which is also amazing. I hope this helps you if you're planning your first trip to Paris. Let us know in the comments what your bucket list of things would be in this amazing city. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.